I'm Cindy,
This is Angelica.
and this is the Good and Ghastly Podcast, episode 3.
3 episodes,
Yeah,
even though I wasn't here for number 2.
that's okay. We missed you.
Good.
It was not the same for sure. John tried his damnedest, but it's not the same.
It's not nearly as awkward.
Yeah, like he was trying to be very professional and
Yeah.
put together, and I was like, no, it's more of a
Those are-
shit show typically.
Yes.
Um, you
Them
know,
2 words that do not describe me in any way, shape, or form.
you don't think so? You don't think we're
Professional?
professional, put together?
I mean, you are. More so. I mean, do you see Cindy's beautiful sweater
Oh,
she's
yes.
got here? I
This
mean,
is the puffy.
the puff sleeves. I think it's adorable.
I think I look like a sack of potatoes, but this is one of the things. It still had the tag on it, and I like bought it in September, and it was like a pre-order thing, which is something they do for like plus size clothing, which is weird.
Interesting.
Yeah, like if you're not in the plus size community, you might not know this, but like they need to show that there's a need for something before they'll produce it. So it took like 2 months to get here, and of course, like when I saw it on the model, it looked gorgeous, and she
Of
was like.
course.
She was like tall fat.
Yeah.
And if you're like tall fat, you
like
can pull,
curvy fat.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can pull freaking anything off.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, when I got it, I'm like, oh, a sack of potatoes. And then
Yep.
I got COVID, so I like didn't return
Aw.
it. And then I found it like 2 months later, and I'm like, well, I'm gonna wear it. So I'm wearing it for you guys. Like this is a special occasion for you to
Yeah.
see me in the potato sack sweater.
It's not a potato sack.
You're
Beautiful color.
You're too kind. What about your shirt?
Oh yeah.
Kind of see it.
Would you like to get a little bit
Yeah.
in here?
Oh,
What do you think?
oh, yeah. Look at that.
Good?
A possum.
Read it. I don't know. Can you read it?
I can read it.
Yeah. Okay. Wow.
Eh,
It made me happy. I needed it.
that's what matters, right? Like,
Yeah.
what you wear should make you happy.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, so episode 3. This is going to be an interesting episode. I guess we should also mention the fact, I guess, that it's International Women's Day when we're actually recording this.
It
So
is.
happy International Women's Day if you fall into that category, if you
Mhm.
identify as a woman. Also, it is what I would consider late,
Yeah.
almost 9 p.m. So on the cusp of my bedtime, typically.
This is late.
Yeah.
I was this close from being ready to to pass out on the couch.
Yeah, that's pretty much. Yeah, It's funny because we ate a huge meal beforehand too. So, yeah. So
caffeine or something.
right. Make some coffee. We should have went to the Starbucks.
Oh
The new
my
Starbucks.
god, no. Oh, no more
Would have
coffee
been
from Starbucks.
all night. Yeah.
Mm.
So, episode 3. This is an interesting one. I guess we should probably issue like kind of a trigger warning. So, we are going to be talking about food and our relationships with food.
Mhm.
So that could be triggering to some people. Definitely, if that does not sound like something you want to listen to, or it might be hard for you to listen to in any way, please skip it. It's not, we'll have other things that will be interesting for you, I'm sure. So,
Well, I figured this though is a very, very close to the heart topic for us.
Yeah.
I mean, I know I am an emotional eater.
absolutely. So, yeah, we're going to talk about food today and
Yeah.
eating your feelings. So,
Mhm.
yeah. So I don't know how we want to
Start it.
start. Yeah, it's
I don't
kind of.
know. Well, let's think of it this way. Let's start from youth. Do you think this was something that affected you when you were younger? Like, do you think you were an emotional eater when you were, I guess, elementary school?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I think I'm gonna say I have used food as a coping mechanism for most of my life.
Hmm.
And even as a child, although I've had, like I said before, a great childhood, I wasn't like traumatized in any way. But I think what I've noticed is that I use food as a way to be in control, especially of situations when I don't feel in control.
Mm-hmm.
So when I eat, that's something I can control because I'm the one putting it in my body. So
Yeah,
yeah,
that makes sense. Interesting though.
yeah.
I would have thought you might have said, like, no, not till adulthood. Because,
No.
I mean, I feel like that's probably more so when I started using food as, like a comfort, definitely as a de-stressor. I don't know, maybe I just figured like if I was full, I couldn't feel
Anything
anything
else.
else, any other feelings or emotions.
Well, I feel like you were thin for a long time there.
Yeah.
Like, I would say, like, different than what you are now in a way. Whereas I've always been kind of different versions of fat. So I've either been like really, really fat or like only a little bit fat. So that's probably some of the difference too with our relationships with food.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, wasn't that I was eating better or healthier or
No.
anything. It was like I'd say what early 20s we're
Yeah.
talking, right? When I was probably at my, I guess, my thinnest. Um that was because I was living off of literally like
Mhm.
McDonald's French fries.
Yeah.
I would eat McDonald's French fries for lunch and for dinner, and I would do nothing, and I would eat nothing else sometimes.
Which is insane. Can you imagine that now? Like,
No, I would be vomiting all the time.
right. And I mean, like, I kind of get it, but that in itself, although it might not be like overeating, I think that's definitely like a disordered way of approaching eating as well, right? You weren't
Yeah,
nurturing yourself.
not at all. I
No.
was in a very dark place
Mm-hmm.
that time in my life, just emotionally, mentally. Didn't really love myself, and food was not something that I was worried about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it makes sense. That was just the easiest thing, right? It tasted
Yeah, it
good
was
and
just I needed to eat something, so I just got whatever was easy and what tasted
right.
good to me. And fortunately, it was McDonald's French fries
With nothing on them either, which
Oh
is
no,
crazy to me because I'm a ketchup and fry
Oh,
person.
not on McDonald's French fries. Mm, just
Oh,
salty, greasy deliciousness in my mouth. Probably shouldn't have said that. But
I mean, if that's the only thing you're eating, right? Like,
yeah, it's, sitting in a dark basement.
right. Yep. I mean,
No sun, no nourishment.
yeah, we should probably dig up a picture of you during that time because you look kind of
Right.
crazy. Like, would you say like there was nothing behind the eyes?
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely dead behind the eyes.
That's awful. It's friggin' awful. It's true, but like,
Yeah,
but look at you now. You got plenty of life in you.
exactly. Chubby cheeks.
Yep. Oh my gosh. Oh man, I remember like when we were talking about like childhood and stuff. Like
Mhm.
one of the things, and I should probably preface this by saying I have binge eating disorder, so that's also like something that kind of informs my life, and like I've had that since I was a kid too. And I was thinking about this as we were preparing for this episode, and like one of the things I thought about is like my mom used to work at a summer camp as a
Mhm.
chef,
Yeah.
and she would cook like for hundreds of kids at a time, and a lot of times when they had leftovers she would bring those home. And we had talked about a little bit about our childhood that we might not have had a lot of money and
Mhm.
stuff, and this was a way for her to have like things, especially during the summer, for my brother and I to eat that were
Yeah.
easy. But the food that she was bringing home was like pizza and burgers and chicken sandwiches and stuff, and like I remember these bags of like hamburger patties would be in the fridge, and I would just like eat nothing but like 3 or 4 hamburgers. Like,
Really.
yeah, like that would be my breakfast and lunch, is like I'd have 2 hamburgers. And like when you're like 10 or 11, like that's not great. I wasn't
Yeah.
like, being smart about it or like adding a salad or like
Well, no,
trying to
you don't think.
diversify.
Just
Well, once
thinking I
again,
need to feed myself and
right.
I'm hungry and it's
It's
easy.
there.
It's easy.
Right. It's there. It tastes good. It didn't cost money. And when you're a kid, like, hey, that's easy,
I can make it for myself.
right. Right, exactly. And like I think that's something that's been different, is like when I've always been able to cook. Like
Yeah.
my mom taught me to cook. I'm a pretty decent cook, I would say, like a chef not chef level, sorry, but
She
like
is. She can cook.
no, you're too nice. But like that's the difference. Like even as a kid, I would go for those easy to make things, and like as
Yeah.
I've transformed into adult, I like will make more complex things, but not always healthy things. So
Yeah.
like it's easier to like, even though I have more control, if I want something that's not great for me, like I can make anything I want now, which is is both a blessing and a curse, right?
Yeah.
So there might not be hamburger patties in the fridge, but I
I
can
mean, it's
whip
still
something up.
homemade.
Yeah, that's
It's
true.
not, I mean, I can't cook, so my default is let me find something
Mm,
prepackaged or fast food. And, it's been a long night, so
yeah,
that's what I'm going to do because it's easy, it's convenient, it's less work.
yeah. Well, I feel like with you having a family to take care of and kids, like on the list of priorities of things you need to do, getting a meal out quickly, however you do that, is like a way of how you take care of yourself and your family. And I I'm sure there are people out there that have tons of time and money and energy to make everything from scratch and make these beautiful meals for their family and stuff. And that's great if you can make
Hmm.
that your prerogative, but like
That would be wonderful.
right, that I don't think that's realistic for most people.
Yeah.
And even single people or people that are just couples, after coming home from working all day or having to travel from work, it's very difficult to have the patience and time and energy
Yeah.
to prepare nice meals. So I think you have to really make that a priority if that's something you're,
Exactly. And
you
there are
know,
some people who can do that, who can
absolutely.
work all day or who can, like be up all day, all night, school, work, and still, cook meals like it's nothing.
Yep.
I am not one of those people. Not at all. I am overwhelmed and overstimulated, and yeah, it's just as long as we're fed, that's the number one priority.
Right. Right. You eat something, it's not just fries, right?
Yeah.
There's a little more balance now.
Be nice if it were just fries still. I'd be dead though, I'm pretty sure.
Oh yeah, I think the sodium content alone would just kill you um from that. My gosh. I yeah, I don't know. It's hard because I have a really interesting, I think, relationship with fast food.
Yeah.
So yeah, because like we never had fast food when we were kids. Like we couldn't afford it. Like let's be
Yeah.
honest. Like even McDonald's back then, Happy Meals were kind of expensive and stuff.
Mm,
And
29-cent Tuesdays?
oh, see, we didn't know that, I guess.
Mm.
So
That's when we got Happy
that
Meals.
see,
29,
yeah,
29 or 39-cent Tuesdays.
that sounds like a deal. So I
Exactly.
get that, but like my mom and dad like grew a garden, and they
Yeah.
like we had fresh fruits and vegetables, and they canned stuff. And my
Mhm.
mom, like I said, was a chef. She made lots of stuff from scratch, so we just didn't have like convenience foods or fast food. And I really didn't eat that stuff until I got my first job at like Ace Hardware, where I started getting my own paycheck and I had a car.
Yeah.
And like that's I having that freedom of yes, I can go get what I want, it's fine when you wield it like with some kind of respect to the
Restraint.
yeah, yeah, like the fact that it's not good for you always.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's yeah, I think gain that freedom. And it's weird too because I don't know if you remember, but like I used to be pretty freaking shy about going into stores or returning things or going to like through fast food counters and stuff.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
used to get really nervous. So like it took a lot of time for me to get comfortable enough to order stuff myself. So that was like another kind of like caveat that I think kept me out of that realm.
Hmm.
But once I like broke that barrier and I realized, oh, I can do this. Well, then it kind of like exploded. And I went kind of crazy with like, especially after I, moved out of my house, like with
Yeah.
my parents, just not a lot of balance, a lot of garbage food, basically.
Yeah, when you're on the go, yeah, on the go, and you're young, and you're working, I don't know, part-time, but you're at work for 12 hours.
Right,
'Cause
right.
you can do anything
Right.
at that age. It's just
Yeah.
part of the process. It's part of what you do. I remember working at Ace, and like my lunch break, since it was at like 7 o'clock at night, was
Right.
I'd have a beef jerky stick,
Mm.
a little bag of cookies, and like ah, not, it wasn't a Snapple. I can't, like, Mystic or something. Those.
Oh
You know
God,
what
what
I'm
is it?
talking about?
Yes.
All the
Oh
stuff that I could buy right at the front counter.
God, the
That would be
Calypso,
dinner.
like,
Yes.
oh my God, those were just sugar,
I know.
straight up like
But it
Kool-Aid.
wasn't even like there was no thought about like healthy, like eating healthy, having fruits and vegetables. That wasn't anything I
No.
was worried about at that age or thinking about. I don't know if it's I don't know if it was just like a access to information thing that you just
Mhm.
didn't think about it. I don't know like why it never came up like, oh, I
Right.
should be pushing myself to eat more fruits and vegetables like at that point in our lives. Like that didn't really start occurring to me until
Mhm.
I got a little bit older, started gaining more weight. But yeah, I mean, obviously you're young, you think you're invincible and
Mhm.
nothing can affect you. And it ends up coming for you.
I mean, that's a real solid point. Like, I think we talked about health class, like the food pyramid and stuff, but like,
Yeah.
I don't think anyone really explained what a calorie was or like
Mm-mm.
how your body converts calories to energy or like how it gets stored or what like insulin is or blood
Oh God,
glucose. And
no.
like, I don't remember really getting into any of that stuff.
No, not even like elementary school and stuff.
No.
You weren't getting that. And it's not like you were having those kind of conversations at home, like, oh, fruits and vegetables are good for you. You want to incorporate this many. We're gonna, like put a focus on it. It was just kind of there, and
Yeah.
you ate it because you're gonna eat what's put in front of
Right,
you.
right. Right.
That way, you just did it. You didn't think like, oh, I'm eating this because it's good for me. It's gonna help me. It's gonna keep me healthy
Right.
for the long run. It was just, yeah, it was you just ate food to eat to fill your stomach. It didn't matter what it was. It's just food.
My goodness. Yeah, that's freaking true. I see, and like I would like to use that as an excuse to why I still struggle with food, but like I consider myself very well educated when it comes to like nutrition now because I've spent years like tracking food and
Yeah.
macros and like full disclosure, like I lost like what 132 pounds at one point. Like I lost
Yeah.
a lot of weight. And that was done through calorie counting, which is, also not the best way to like
Yeah.
approach, um, having issues. And like, I think, whereas like the binge eating's not great, but like the other side of that is not great either. That restricted
Exactly.
like eating part. So like I've struggled with trying to find that happy medium between the two. And like if you don't know what binging or like disorder is or some of the like symptoms, it's different than like having anorexia where you don't want to eat, or
Hmm.
having bulimia where you like eat a bunch but then you like purge it,
Yeah.
like you no longer like keep it in your body. Binge eating disorder is like having uh bulimia without the purge part, which is, it's obese people like that have this they're usually obese because they don't have that purge sensation. And
Yeah.
like some of the things that I've struggled with is the fact that I don't feel hunger and I don't feel fullness, which is like weird for someone that does feel those things. Like you could sit there and eat something and be like, oh man, I ate too much. And like I'll say like I ate too much, but like those cues are not based on hunger feelings. Those are based on mental.
Really
And yes.
interesting. Like you don't
Yes.
get the cramps in your
No.
stomach that you take a breath and it hurts.
No, and
Really
no. And that's
interesting.
that's from years and years and years of binge eating. because I've literally gotten to the point where like I could probably just eat myself to death. Like not to be like crazy about
Yeah,
it,
no,
but like
I got you.
you know, like in Seven where the guy like I don't know if you remember that movie, but like he sits there and eats until he dies.
Yeah.
That could literally be me because I don't have those feelings. And I'll tell you one of the things that's helped in the recent time and where I've actually started to get sensation back is I actually did start Ozempic
Mm-hmm.
injections, and not I know that they're being used for like weight loss and that. I use it because I also have diabetes,
Yeah.
and mine is to help control the diabetes with the added effects of being able to have it lose weight. Well,
Exactly.
yeah, with the start of the new year, I switched jobs, and so I've been fighting my new insurance company to get this medication, and I can't get it approved. So I'm
Still.
yeah, still. So I've been fighting with them, and we're in what March now.
Yeah.
So I haven't had medication like in almost 3 weeks. Which and I've noticed like when I was on the Ozempic, I was actually starting to get to where I had those fullness cues,
Yeah.
and it was weird because the first couple times I felt them, I was like, "Oh, I'm sick,"
Yeah.
and it wasn't sick. It
You
was
didn't
like,
know how to
"Oh,
interpret it.
yeah, I'm freaking full. This is weird."
Wow.
And the problem with not being on the Ozempic now is that's gone away. And so I've had a really good relationship with food the last couple like probably the last year since I've been Ozempic. I've been good about stopping when I'm full and being able to read those. Without the medication, I like relapsed hard.
Isn't that
It
crazy?
is, and it's so easy to just like switch
Yeah.
right back to it. And it's literally like, you know, I mentally understand it. I'm not like an idiot that can't be like, this is too much food or this is whatever.
Yeah.
But
It's
like,
like I'm just gonna keep going.
yeah, it to get control and stuff. When I get in one of those like episodes, I just don't feel it. I can't, and like I think I explained it to my mom like pretty recently too that I struggle with this. Is it's like you would think having like binge eating disorder, I would sit there and eat like I don't know tubs of cheese or like candy or ice cream, like pints of ice cream.
Hmm.
If I try to keep those things out of the house in a lot of
Yeah.
cases, so I don't have that. I will eat a box of wheat thins. I will eat pasta, just plain pasta. Like it doesn't matter what the food is. I will just binge on it. I'll eat a loaf of bread with nothing on it. Like because it's like tied to my control.
Yeah.
So, and I
Yeah.
think that's what people don't understand. It's not like I'm like getting 6 tubs of ice cream and eating it.
Yeah.
Like I literally just need that control at that time, and I will grab anything I can
Yeah.
find.
Do you think that it is driven though more by emotions or by just a compulsion?
For me personally, it's compulsion.
Interesting.
It's not because obviously if you're happy, sad, whatever, mine is control.
Yeah.
Like
If you feel out of control,
yeah,
that's when you
exactly.
feel that you need to, that's when you just start and you can't stop.
Right, right. I can be happy, I can be sad, I can be whatever. My emotions don't matter. It's if I feel, I guess you could say stressed, but it's more of like out of control. If I feel at that point that things aren't going the way I want, or maybe they're going really well, but I'm worried about that,
Yeah.
like that will be what I focus in on. It won't be like, oh, I had a bad day, I'm going to eat a pint of ice cream. Like I think that's how people normally binge foods, right?
That's how, yeah, that's
Yeah.
more of how I am.
Yeah, that's what I would expect too. Like,
Yeah.
I'm sad, I'm gonna eat that. But mine is literally like, nope, nope. I don't have control right now. I'm gonna binge, and that's not. I'm not happy. I'm not sad. I'm no whatever. I just feel out of control,
Yeah.
which is weird.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm learning something new. That's very interesting. I don't think I knew that about. No, I not think. I know I didn't
Yeah.
know that
Well,
about you because like when we have those we have conversations about eating and
Mhm.
overeating, and I guess I just assume because like, oh, I eat because I'm sad, or I eat when I'm stressed, or I drink pop when I'm stressed out because it helps to calm me. Hey, I'm not drinking alcohol, right?
I mean,
So I guess I just always assume that because we have similar emotional responses, that yours was, the same reason. It's yeah, because mine is definitely emotion driven.
yeah,
Yeah.
I could see that, and like I understand that. Like, Not to say that I never use food when I'm emotional, like,
Yeah.
but like that's not my prerogative. I just have a thing that switches in my brain that says I need to binge now.
Wow.
Yeah, and it can be like nothing. It can be just literally Tuesday at 10 a.m. It's really, really weird.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Do you think, I mean, has that been something that you've thought about addressing like in therapy?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, so I definitely did talk about it in therapy a lot, and it wasn't the main reason I was in therapy at the point.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but it's something that we kind of broached the subject, and
Yeah. Food is usually,
yeah,
I don't know, I feel like, when you're struggling with your regulating your nervous system, we'll say, because that's a nice little phrase I've learned.
yes,
When you're struggling with that, uh, what was I trying to get at even?
it's late. We're
Oh my
tired.
gosh. And there's just been so much
Oh
to
my,
worry about. But gosh, I completely lost it. I'm sorry.
no, you're fine. I think
Uh,
it's I don't know. Uh, for me, like when I went to therapy, weight loss wasn't the reason for it,
yeah.
and now that I have come to a place where I'm handling my depression better,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that might be something I should address, maybe. And I think it's hard. I think for anyone that's like gained a lot of weight, um, to like get back into that mindset.
It's exhausting. I
That's
remember when you were doing all of when you were working on the weight loss.
yep,
It was, I mean, and I understood, like, it had to consume you. It had
yeah,
to be your main focus pretty much 24/7.
yep,
When you weren't sleeping, you were having to think about what you were eating,
yep,
how active you were,
yeah,
it just what you were going to eat, what you were going to
right,
do for that day. I mean, I can't, and then it stinks because the second that you let that slip a little bit, it's like you're screwed.
yep. And that's it's so funny that you say that because like at the end there, had lost all that weight, and
Yeah.
like I couldn't get the scale to budge anymore. And like those are plateaus. I had a couple during that journey, but
Yeah.
like it ended up being like I think it was a month, and I hadn't lost any weight, and I literally came undone. And at that point, I was at 1,200 calories a day,
Yeah.
which is not enough food
No.
for for maintenance calories even. And like on top of that, I was running several miles, like probably
Hmm.
5 miles a day. I was working out 2 or 3 times a day. And I'm not talking like, playing some ball or something. I was doing like P90X workouts,
Yeah.
like the beach body stuff, like hardcore,
Yeah.
and I couldn't get the scale to move. And I literally had a meltdown because I was like, I'm tracking all my food. That was the other thing. Like, I love my fitness pal for being able to see the nutrients and stuff.
Hmm.
But I feel like when you have disordered eating,
Yeah.
I used it for evil. Like, I would plan, like you said, my meals, like to the, like, every tablespoon, every gram of everything I put in my body. And that is, people are not meant to live like that.
Yeah.
It was like you said, it was my whole life. Weight loss was my
Hmm.
life for like a good year and a half,
Yeah.
and I had nothing else. And that's
I remember it. And
yeah,
I mean, it was a learning lesson for me, even because I saw what you were going through, and I was like, gosh, it's so much effort, so
yeah,
much work, and then just to hit that, like you hit that point where it just all of a sudden becomes disappointment,
yeah. Oh, and like
and then it just falls apart, and you're screwed.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. And that's what it was. It was like, well, screw it. If I'm not gonna
Yeah,
lose, if I can't get to my goals, and like looking back at it now, my goal weight, which I hate that term
yeah,
because you don't know what your freaking goal weight. That stupid chart that tells you should be like 115 pounds, it's
exactly.
stupid. Like
Yeah,
those are
I'm sure I should be like 105 pounds
right.
for my height.
You would
I would look sickly.
emaciated. Yeah,
Yeah,
like there's your body isn't built like that. Like
exactly.
and it
And everybody is built differently.
right.
Some people are not meant to be thinner than a certain point.
Right.
It's just the way we're built, the way we're made. You know, everybody is just different.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think
It's
that's why
frustrating
it is.
because you're told that, if you it goes kind of back to this, like, oh, well, if you're working out and you're eating healthy and you're taking care of yourself, you should lose the weight. You
Yeah,
should be
should
thin.
be
You should
easy.
be, yeah. That's how you do it, and then you get the results.
Yeah, it's there's a lot of stuff that goes into losing weight and to maintaining weight, and
Hmm.
it's not just as easy as calories in, calories out,
Yeah.
minus exercise. It doesn't work that way. And like I think also now that we know more, and I think that there's been a lot of like progressive like movements towards things like the health at any size movement,
Yeah.
where you can be overweight or maybe not the thinnest
Yeah.
in the world and still be healthy. Like we have to look at what your quality of life is. What's
Exactly.
your blood pressure? What's your insulin levels? How do you feel and how are you able to like move throughout your life? If you're happy
Hmm.
and healthy, you don't need to hit a certain weight.
Exactly.
But that's I don't think society really
It's
like
still not
yeah.
acceptable.
Oh, absolutely not. Like and not that I want to talk about like bullying or whatever, but like I never felt being a fat person. I never felt bad even in high school. Like people didn't make fun of me to my face.
Yeah. I
But
mean,
I
I
I
I don't ever recall like weight being an issue, and
no.
like other people's weight being
No,
an
I didn't
issue.
even
Like
look.
that wasn't.
I mean, I did get like mistaken for the other one of the other big girls. I would be like, "Oh, hey, what are her name?" And I'd be like, "No, I'm the other one." Like, like all those fat people look the same,
No, or all us Mexicans
Yeah,
look
right,
the
right.
same.
But like I never felt like less than or whatever because I was bigger.
Ashamed.
Right, right. And it was like, okay, I know I'm bigger and like whatever. And back then, I wish I was that size
Yeah,
now.
right.
Like, oh my God, I would do anything to be that size. But like, it didn't happen until I became an adult, and like in the workforce that I started getting bullied and shamed for it. And it's like, that's so freaking weird. Like, you would think, so many people have the story that like I was bullied as a kid,
Yeah.
and I'm not saying that I should have been bullied. Like, I'm not, no, that's wrong. I'm not saying like I missed out on that. It's just so weird that I was like so sheltered that I felt like, like maybe the world just is accepting and stuff. But the thing is,
Yeah.
it honestly it isn't.
No, it isn't.
It's not, and I would never say like on either side of the fence. Like I don't think it's awesome to be super obese and unhappy, and I
Hmm.
don't think it's awesome to be super thin and unhappy. I think whatever size you are, that you're happy and you feel healthy and your
Great.
best is great, and whatever you need to do to get there is I would support that as well. But like I don't know, I I don't know. It just
Yeah. That's a struggle though. I
yeah
mean, I find like, it's like I know what I need to do. I
yeah
know what I need to eat. I know that I need to move myself and be active. But I think for me, it's more of just that like mental overload.
yeah
And I do get depressed easily.
yeah
I do get stressed. I get overwhelmed. I get anxious, all of that. And for me, it is that, like, I'm like, okay, well, what's easy to get to? Because I need something that's convenient and fast, and I don't have to think about it. And what's, like grabbing bread, you don't have to think about it. Making toast, it's easy.
yeah
I don't have to, I could just throw it in the toaster, put butter on it, and there I am. I'm full. Um, it's just, yeah, I just find it's hard to like have a taste for something,
mm,
to like crave something. I don't really crave anything, which I think is weird. It's not like, oh, I really want, like ice cream or even French fries. I don't
you
have that.
overdid it.
I
You can't
must have. But I still eat junk because it's easy, it's convenient, and as much as I hate it, I just like it feels like that's one more thing that I cannot take on.
mm,
And and what I tend to do is I tend to focus on like what the kids are eating. Like
Mm,
I need to make sure that they're getting what they need, even though I know that I have to take care of myself
right.
in order to take care of them. But it's just it's a lot to think about. It's a lot to think about. How many vegetables they're getting. Are they
Yeah.
getting enough vitamins?
It's exhausting
It
in the
is,
list of things. Like,
right? Like you don't have time in the day to, you're working, they're at school all day, they come home, there's homework, so you got to fit in homework, you're trying to clean up at least a little bit. And then, you got to fit in a meal in that, and then showers and bedtime, and
mm,
really we only have like 3-4 hours at night to get
yeah.
all of that done.
Yeah. And like the idea of like cooking a well balanced, perfect meal just is overwhelming, I'm sure. Like,
Yeah, it
yeah.
really is. And I'd love to. I would absolutely love to. I wish I had like even just the focus to do it, like to stop to think about it. But I feel like I can't stop. I can't stop to, put together, like a couple of ingredients. My mom she stays at with us, kind of keeps me company, helps me with the kids a bit. um but she's always telling me like, I'm like, oh, I didn't get to take something out for dinner, I didn't think about what to do. She's like, oh, if you just take something out, I'll make it for you. It's like even that is a lot. Even that is like stressful for me. It's like, well, if if I could stop and think about what to take out to make, then I could probably make it myself. Like that'd be, that's the part that's hard. It's the thinking about what to do, what to make,
Absolutely.
how to make everybody happy.
That's another, I would say that's another struggle too, especially with having kids and a husband that might not be as diverse in what he
Hmm.
eats. Um, Definitely that's like a challenge. And like you were saying, the ease of grabbing something
Hmm.
convenient or fast food or whatever is like your coping mechanism
Hmm.
to just get through the day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's exactly it.
So I'm not an advice person, but like I know for me, I get overwhelmed having to do that kind of stuff, and I'm worried about me and my husband. That's it. And really, he's pretty good about eating most things. I would
Yeah.
say. Um, I do have to like schedule time to go figure out what's on sale from the grocery store, put together a meal plan, check what's in the pantry,
Yeah.
you put all the other things I need into the cart, have a contingency plan when Jewel, I'm calling you out, Jewel, is out of something that's on sale that and you were planning on making it for dinner. So I have
Yeah.
to have a backup. But like putting putting that together and then having to go get it, bring it home, prep it in some
Hmm.
way. Cause like if you get fresh fruits and vegetables, you've got to soak and wash everything. You've got to cut it up. You've got to empty out the fridge of the crap that went bad that you didn't eat from last week, or like the leftovers. Like all this stuff when you like add it up and then like obviously put the meals together and do the cooking part. Like the amount of time and effort that goes into that for a week is for me, I would say probably like 10 hours in total
Yeah.
I can't speak tonight, it's too late, from concept to actually getting something on the plate
Yeah.
every day. It's like 10 hours of time. If I had to factor in the fact that I had a family, like kids and stuff like that as well, that's 10 hours that you just don't have.
Yeah.
So like I feel like I want to help you.
Oh, you do
I
though.
know, but
Cindy
like
makes us meals when she can, and she drops them off. And I feel guilty because she shouldn't have to do that, but it is such a huge help. It
oh,
really is. It does just take that extra level of stress away. Yeah, I mean, more power to the people who can do it. More, I think it's amazing. I'm not built that way.
right.
My brain just can't. It can't handle all of that. And I used to feel guilty about that. Like, why can't I figure this out?
Right.
Or, like, oh, if I start working from home, I'll have more time. It's like, no, I'm working
Yeah.
the same amount of hours. It's just no travel.
Yeah.
But, it's still, you're still busy.
Yeah. Exactly. I feel like I work more when I work from home because, like, I'm more likely
Yeah.
to like put in the extra effort.
Yeah. Like,
'Cause-
I don't need a lunch. I could just keep
Right.
going.
Exactly. So you're missing out on that time that you might have used for those other things.
Exactly. Like going for a walk. It's like, I'm going to go for a walk at lunch. And then it's like, no, I've got too much work to do.
Right.
Or I'm hungry. Well, we got to grab something real quick.
Ah.
So I'm shoveling in, like trail mix.
Oh man,
That's
I
been
love
my-
trail mix.
That's been my go-to
Yeah.
the past 2 weeks. Yeah. It's
Ooh.
bag of trail mix and just scooping handfuls into my mouth while I'm working.
Like a little squirrel. You're just like I was gonna say, like, in a week, how many, like, right now, and I don't want to call you out, like, I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but I'm going to because I'm me. How many meals a week do you think you're making on average? Like, typically now?
1, maybe 2.
1 or 2?
If I'm lucky. Yeah. And that's like, and I would say, like, if I'm actually putting together a meal, like if I'm talking, I didn't throw a pizza in the in the toaster oven.
Yeah.
That like, it's not all eating out. It's
Right.
just like, all right, we're having cereal for dinner.
Hey.
But
So
yeah, like once or twice. If I'm really, like, if I'm having a good week and I can come up with a little bit more, I might be able to do 3. But I'd probably say that's like my max.
yeah, and I think I get it. I just think, like, one of the people I watch on YouTube,
Yeah.
she's a nutritionist. Her name's Abby Sharp. And one of the concepts that I really like that she puts out there about nutrition and stuff is that she's always looking to see what we can add to, not
Mhm.
take away. So it isn't that you should sit there and, like, take away these easy meals or take away the frozen pizza,
Yeah.
but maybe what you could add to it.
That's a
to
good
make-
way to look at it.
Right. Because, like, I get that you probably don't have the capacity to, like, plan a different meal than that frozen pizza.
Yeah.
But what happens if you make that frozen pizza and a side of broccoli?
Yes.
Like, and that's an easy stepping stone, like, to kind of try to incorporate more nutritious things
Yeah.
in there. And, like, I feel like for your picky eaters and that,
Yes.
I would, like, for me, and you should probably give me this list anyway. I was gonna say you should probably just make a list of what they will eat, and then you can
That's
play.
a very short list.
Right. You can grab from that list though and have it. I was gonna say for me, so I can make things that fall within that list. But yeah, it's so hard because I would love to say, like, oh, add in 2 more meals a week, but, like, be
Yeah.
realistic. Where does that time come from?
Yeah, exactly. And it's not like I'm not trying. I want my
Right.
kids to grow up having healthier eating habits than
Of
I
course.
did. Because I just, like I said, I didn't think about food, and my mom cooked a lot when I was
Yep.
little. In
She's a batch
we
cooker,
didn't-
too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like in reality we really didn't eat out all that much.
No.
Like I said, I vaguely remember the Tuesday Happy Meals, but it wasn't like it was all the time.
Right.
Or she was cooking. It was rice, beans, meat. She
Tamales.
I
Tamales.
don't remember those when I was little.
No.
I don't.
I
I'm not
remember
doing that
them
when I
now.
was little.
Just a reminder to mom. Tamales.
It's not time, Cindy.
Oh, ooh, tandoori chicken.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
But yeah, it's like I don't know when does that switch happen when you're like, I get homemade meals and now screw it, I'm gonna go eat some fast food.
I think it's our society, to be honest. Like, the availability of this stuff is so much easier now. We can get shit delivered,
Oh yeah,
and that, like,
I'm talking like when we were young adults, like in our early 20s.
we had
were doing
access.
that. I guess when it's new to you.
Yeah.
You have money of your own.
Money and a car. Like,
Yeah.
those are the things. Like, because I don't think where either of us lived really. We couldn't really walk to too many places. So, like,
no.
and the places you could walk to were not great. So it's like, but if you have a car,
Yeah.
like, I can get to Wendy's. I can get to, McDonald's.
Go to the mall, get a smoothie.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. The smoothies. let's blame the smoothies for all of our problems.
I like it.
My gosh, like yeah, it's hard that switch that happens, and I feel like now so much of our food is processed more than it
Yeah,
was.
that's true
Like
too.
whole foods are just like not as accessible, and like even our fresh fruits and vegetables and stuff, like all the chemicals and things that have been
Yeah.
treated with, like food is just our food system is so fucked.
Yeah. And the stuff doesn't last.
Nope. Well, because it's been on boats and stuff for
Exactly.
weeks,
Yep.
and I get that it's like to keep the costs down or whatever, because we can, and to have things year round, right? Like
Yeah.
why
yeah.
are we getting nectarines
Exactly.
in February? Because they're coming from Chile, you know. And I love fruits and stuff, but it's kind of destroyed our whole ecosystem of groceries and fruits and vegetables, because things don't last because they're old. They've been treated or GMO'd to last longer, and it's messed up, man. Like it's just kind of ruined our relationship with food, and I feel like in a lot of
Yeah.
ways. But we got to do what we can with what we have now.
Exactly.
Right. So that's a good part, I guess, of this ghastly conversation of we can change, we can find solutions
Yes,
for
that's right.
these kind of things. But like, man, I feel like I've deleted the DoorDash app, like
Oh yeah.
freaking, well, I was gonna say I have, as in not currently. I probably deleted that app like 5 or 6 times. I swear to God, I get home from work and I'm like, I can't deal right now.
Yeah.
And guess what? I get the freaking DoorDash app, and what do I get? Soup in a freaking hamburger box. So, you know what I mean? Like it's food that comes that's not hot. It's been tossed around in a car.
You're so mad at yourself
Yes.
that you ordered.
Yes.
It's like,
Why
why did I do this?
I think about it, and like sometimes I sit there and I like take what we ordered and like divide it up. I'm like, okay, so this stupid thing I ordered was $27. Would I pay $27 for this if we were going to this restaurant? No, I would throw fists. Like I can't believe whatever, but like because someone is driving it to me, I'm willing to like lower my standards really low in order to be able to shove it in my face, because I can't handle anything else right now.
Yeah.
And it's I don't know, man. I've become so
How about that? Where are these people who aren't overwhelmed all the time? Like, is that a thing? Is that like, are there people who don't feel just, I don't know, like, I feel like I have constant pressure, like right in my chest. That's where I feel everything is right here, like the pressure, the stress, the anxiety.
I was
It
gonna say
all builds up right here and I feel it all the time.
that my dear is an anxiety disorder. Like I hate to be whatever. And yeah, there are people out there that don't feel that, but those people don't have an anxiety disorder. So like I think because the thing that you're like describing, I don't feel that.
Really?
No,
Like,
that's
I don't even know how to, like, it's just weight. It just pushes in right here all the time.
yeah, you're also super hard on yourself. Like I don't want to be like pointing my finger at whose fault it is, but the person that's causing all the pressure and trying to be perfect. Ooh.
Working on it. Okay?
I know, and we're our own worst critics, and that's the thing.
Yeah.
You hold yourself to such a high standard and such a thing, and it's manifested in your chest, which that bothers me because of lots of reasons. Because now I don't know if you're doing this because you're stressed and having, anxiety, or if you're having a heart attack, also from the stress and anxiety, probably.
That goes through the arm, right?
If you're a gentleman, women get heart attack symptoms different.
I don't know this stuff.
Oh my God. You're gonna be
not a medical professor.
Okay, professor. But yeah, I feel like you hold yourself to this thing, and like,
oh yeah,
that's something you need to work on. And I like to answer your question. Yes, there are people that don't feel that out there, but like those people aren't you.
Yeah,
like it's hard to compare yourself to others because people process things differently.
Yeah, no, that's a valid point.
Yeah,
it's hard to remember that.
Yeah,
I see a lot of like they've been popping up a lot more, like these videos or reels or TikToks or whatever they are.
The internet.
The Google machines. I'm on the Facebooks.
Not middle age yet, just a reminder.
And it's like these, these moms or wives, and they're making, they're showing the meals they're putting together for their kids or for their husbands, and you're like, oh man, do I do that? Because it's not looking great, to be honest. Like, they're not like, I'm like, I'm not showing. I was like, okay, so I do that sometimes, but I'm not going to show it. I do that.
You don't need the internet making comments on you?
I sure don't.
Oh my God.
I'm waiting for somebody to get a hold of all of this.
Yeah, right. Well, I hate to break it to you, but we're putting this on the internet,
I know.
so I'm sure that the hate will rain down.
I think I'm okay so far because I figure nobody's watching.
You know what? You know that old adage, like, dance like no one's watching? We're going to podcast like no one's watching.
Yeah.
Because really this,
it's for us.
It is for us. It is. And if someone finds value,
yeah,
that's great too. This is the itchiest sweater. I swear to God. I'm going to rip this thing off like Hulk, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry about your anxiety, but I'm dying. Oh my goodness. Anyways.
Yeah, so
what you got there?
I'm gonna have a little snack here. We got some
That is a carrot cake. And I am supremely jealous.
What good stuff.
Is it good stuff? Now should I ask you lots of questions because you got a ton of cake in your gullet?
I needed a bite.
That's fair enough. Like, it's been sitting there for almost an hour, and you
I haven't touched it.
I'm very proud of you.
I can't help it. The sweets, man.
I
love the sugars too.
Yeah. I have the same problem. Like, I like sweets better, and like I've
carbs,
so
sweets. Good.
I tried to. So I'm always trying to find ways to mitigate these things, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, I got Poppy, obviously the soda.
Yes. Yes.
It's love your soda again or whatever. It's like made with apple cider vinegar. It's supposed to be healthier.
No, like, does it have kombucha?
I can't. No kombucha. No, I can't do kombucha. I don't know people that drink that, they're psycho. I can't do the kombucha. Well, if you drink it, you're not psycho. You're just you got an iron stomach because I can't. But like it's reminiscent of soda, I guess, or pop if you're from the Midwest.
Yes.
So I got that, and then like I don't know if you've ever tried Smart Sweets. Or heard of them?
No. Are they from Target?
Target does sell them. They're a woman-owned company too. That like it's supposed to be healthier candy. Basically, it has sugar still, but they use sugar alcohols to bring down the actual sugar content, so it's still sweet. But then they take it and like load these candies full of fiber.
Oh,
these things tear me up.
Really?
And, oh my God, because there's so much fiber in them. Like
that might not be a bad idea.
I was gonna say you should take some. I got a crap ton, and like it makes me kind of, But like some of them taste pretty good. But the thing is, like, once again, binge eating disorder. If you binge like 2 things of these, you're going to be your brains out. Like this is not something you can have like as a substitute because it will kill you. So like. I don't know. I'm just trying to find like I don't want to use the word healthier. I'm just trying to find alternatives.
Yeah, like
try different stuff.
Not as bad, right?
Yeah,
I get that.
Why is it also? I could just eat a piece of fruit.
Yeah.
To be honest, like it's like I need to go buy this really expensive candy and this soda that's $2.50 a freaking can. It's like, oh, why don't you just have some water? Oh. Shit. Well, I have been on the yeah.
Oh, I got my cup too. Mine's a knockoff. Yeah. I wanted to be cool like Cindy, so I got my Stanley knockoff.
Yeah. Does yours have lead in it? Because mine does.
Sure tastes like it.
I love the stupid big drink things. I know they're ridiculous. They're not
They
practical.
are. I'm not taking it out of the house.
No,
well,
either.
except for here. But yeah, no, that's not going like in
to
public.
work. Yeah, no.
Lugging that thing around.
It does make me drink more water. Though.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And it is nice that it's bigger, so it's you don't have to get up as many times.
But you could probably use the steps. But like, why when you can sit and just be like, oh, I'm drinking my drinky drink.
Well, then like 5 hours later, you stand up and go, "Oh my god, my legs!"
And also my bladder, because now like I drank this whole thing this late. I'm gonna be up in the middle of the night having to pee, for sure. But oh, well, I don't know. We have anything else to say about?
I don't know.
I think we're going to continue this conversation at some point because it's been interesting.
It has been.
Right?
I find it also interesting that I think we continue to learn things about each other just when I think we know everything.
Right? I just keep all the shameful bits down. And then I'm like, hey, let's put it on the internet. And not only can I
never told anybody.
Let me say all my dark stuff online. That's great. My enemies have things to use against us now.
You see, saying my outside thoughts or my inside thoughts on the outside.
Exactly. Like you said, podcast like no one's watching.
That's right.
So yeah, that's been exciting with this journey too. I think you're right. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah,
because I guess I just assume that since we are so alike, that even though we have similar issues and similar concerns, that they must just be in the same way.
Yeah,
and they're not. Everybody's got a different struggle, different
baggage.
Yeah. We know that, we know our lives are similar but very different at the same time.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yay. Well, since we're at the end of the show,
yes,
this show at least, not permanently, I hope.
I hope not.
Let's hope
this isn't our going out of business sale,
no,
is it?
No, fire sale.
How much?
Yeah, we're taking bids. That's fine. I'll sign things. It'll be worth nothing, but sure. I was gonna say, so what's new? What's been in the last week? What's been awesome or not awesome? Or tell us something in the show that's not to do with the eating thing.
Oh, I could do that.
Yeah.
Let's see. Well, that. So it's been 2 weeks now. 2 weeks, I think. My daughter broke her collarbone, so that's fun because she is emotional and she doesn't like to be hurt. She doesn't want to be beautiful. Her beautiful collarbone, her clavicle is ruined.
No man will have her, or woman. Sorry, we are in 2024. Yeah,
hey,
No person.
Got that going. Working through that still. And yeah, car broke down on the highway, taking the kids to Monster Jam.
Oh no.
Last Friday, broke down on the highway. Kids are crying because it's our daughter's birthday. Oh no, we're going to miss Monster Jam. And we're thinking, how the hell are we going to get off the highway?
What's more important at this moment?
So luckily we have an amazing support system. And I know if I had called Cindy, she would have been there in a heartbeat. Yep. But my brother came and rescued us, and we were able to get the kids in his car. And he took us to the Allstate Arena and waited for us. Did you?
I didn't know he waited.
Yeah.
What a sweet kid.
Yeah, he sat in the Target parking lot watching people get towed.
But not me.
For like 2 hours. So he dropped us off and waited for us.
Oh boy.
And then drove us home. I know. Amazing. Like that is one thing I will forever be grateful for, is for all of you, because you guys are we have the absolute best people in our lives. I
That's
love you
because
guys for
you're
it.
the absolute best. That's why.
Aw. But not so great. Engine is shot. So no more car.
But bright side,
We're gonna work through it.
yeah, you're
We're
gonna
gonna
get
work through it.
a different vehicle.
Exactly. We'll figure it out. Learned and had a good therapy session today.
Mm.
Therapist helped me, like kind of work through the realization that, there have been lots of struggles that we've had to deal with. And each time, even from a young age, I feel like I'm saying we because I feel like you're in the same boat. We've always figured it out. We've always had to get creative. And because we just don't have like the means to just be like, oh, thank goodness I have 10 grand saved up.
My car fund.
My car fund.
Who has a savings account or a car fund or a 401k? Who are you people? Jesus, you're adults.
Well, you don't live paycheck to paycheck. Must be nice.
Or, future paycheck to future paycheck.
Yeah, exactly.
A little negative's okay.
But it was interesting talking about that because I tend to always associate that need to be able to figure that stuff out or to be able to make it work as a negative, as like, oh, I have to do those things because I don't have the means, because I don't have the money, because I don't make enough, because we can't save anything. And the way she helped me look at it as a strength, because like for instance, like being 17 years old and trying to get a car, she's like, okay, well, how did you do that? Well, I had to go to my dad. I had to get him to co-sign on a personal loan for me so I could get myself a car. She's like, not a lot of people can do that at that age. She's like, how did you know to do that? And I'm like, I guess I've never looked at it that way, And yeah, each time there's a struggle, each time there's a bump in the road, we got to get creative and we got to figure it out.
Yep.
And there are some people who can't do that because they've never had to do that.
Right. You're resilient.
So, exactly.
Yep.
And I have to start understanding that that's a strength. That's why I am not moping today. I feel good. I'm trying to I'm looking on the positive side of things. So I hope I can extend that to you if you end up in a similar situation. Not with the car thing or anything. I don't want to jinx you, but I'm just saying, like, I feel like we do. It's inevitable. I mean, I know it happens to everybody, but the next bump in the road, we got to try to, look at the strengths that we get from it.
Absolutely. And like, I think that thinking is why therapy is so important.
Yeah.
Because as pessimists,
yeah,
I don't think being able to turn that around in your brain would ever come naturally.
No.
Without some gentle coaching.
I was headed the wrong way.
Mm-hmm.
I was upset about one thing, and then that happened, and then something else happened. Found out one of the restaurants we like to go to that's local is closing, and I was upset. Not because it affects me, but it was like, there's another thing. It's another thing changing. It's another thing that's not right. But I worked through it.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
You always will get through it. And you always do. And
yeah. I mean, okay. So now I've vented. How was your week?
To be honest, like it's been pretty good. Like
good.
I've recently, since the beginning of the year, I think probably February, we started playing D&D again.
Yes.
I have a group. My brother's dungeon master, and that's not what you think it is if you don't know what D&D is. It's a like fantasy role playing game with dice that that once again probably did not come out right. Anyway, just Google D&D. There's plenty of things like listen to Critical Role podcast if you're interested.
Oh.
Not sponsored. But we just started playing again, and like my brother's, like I said, the dungeon master, and like we've played with different groups of people, and like I played with different dungeon masters. I miss D&D and Dan, which was one of my husband's friends from England.
Yeah.
His name was Dan, and he was a fantastic dungeon master. And I miss playing with him, but the time difference is hard on us. But I can say like I don't really stay up late for many things. And like last night we stayed up way too late because we were in the middle of fighting, and it just like felt awesome. Like, and it's a weird thing because like it's very nerdy.
Yeah,
But like just to like have a group of people that are just literally we're all like adults. It's not like we're kids anymore, but we're like taking this time out to kind of like build this fantasy world. Yeah. And build like these characters and like try to stretch that creative kind of like gene.
Fun.
Right. And it is super fun. And like I've not to get into this whole thing about D&D, but we should do an episode of D&D and get like some guests.
I know nothing.
that I would think it would be, you'd find it really interesting. But our whole campaign got like shifted around because my brother's like evil, and he thought it would be funny to like have us build out characters and then switch all of our classes. Okay. So all of our characters are built for a different class than what we actually are. So I ended up being a bard, and bards are like the ones that like make their support characters, and they like make music or write poetry.
Okay, and
so I've had to like flip on my creative juices again, and one of the spells I use, this is getting really nerdy, I'll make this quick, is this spell called Vicious Mockery. And like when you cast it, if it hits, I have to come up with an insult to hurl at my enemy in order to strike them. So you like act it out, like I say I'm going to cast Vicious Mockery if it hits. So I've had a lot of fun like crafting all these dumb like vicious mockery phases, like insults to hurl at these like enemies basically. So that's been fun to have to do that. And like
I love it.
I wish I was like super musical or something where I could like get a pan flute or something and like, you know, perform. And like we've had bards in the past do like rap battles and stuff, but I'm just not that creative. But like words I can do.
You
so.
are just in
different way.
Yeah. You so use your words as poetry and
exactly. So I'm looking forward to like building my character and hopefully writing some limericks and some more insults and just enjoying a really fun campaign that's probably going to take most of the year.
Aww.
So yeah, I just thought I would share that. Like, A, I'm nerdy as heck. B, we're going to do something with D&D in the future for this podcast. And
all right, well, we're going to have to do something with trains if we're going to get all nerdy.
We should have your son on to talk about trains. Her son knows so much about trains that he's like, I don't know, what, the Einstein of trains or something? He's like, yeah.
Train savant. 6-year-old train savant.
Yeah, like, and we're not talking like Thomas the Tank Engine. I'm talking like actual trains.
He's obsessed with like diesel trains and the parts of trains.
Yeah, so.
But, you know, that's extended. I've always thought trains were interesting, model trains. Now I have more interest in it.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? I'm interested in the color pink and glitter and sparkles because of the girl.
Yeah. You're forced into those kind of things.
Out of the box.
Yeah.
So, if you couldn't tell, this is not a lady who enjoys colors.
Really? I would have thought you're like a Rainbow Bright type.
Yeah. You hide it well, huh?
Yeah, you do. So yeah, I guess then in the future you can look forward to D&D and trains. Maybe we could do like a crossover episode.
Yes. Half and half.
Half and half. Half trains, half D&D. We can have our guests talk to each other.
And with that, we've lost our 0 followers.
Yes. Now it's going into negative and we're being banned because no one wants to hear that. But yeah. So yeah, I think we're good. I think it's about time we check on the husbands and maybe say au revoir.
Ooh, fancy.
You like
Spanish?
Oh.
Yeah, I'm just kidding. Swear. I actually know more French than I do Spanish. So.
I know more Spanish than I know French. Mm-hmm. Surprisingly. Haven't been to Mexico or Spain.
No, I have not been to France or
Yes.
Canada.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Montreal. That was interesting. But yeah, so if you're still here after the train talk and the D&D talk, you're a trooper. And thank you for listening again. And yeah,
See you next time.
see you next time. Bye. Jazz hands. Oh, you gotta reach. Bye.